What we are is we're a midstream refiner of elements and critical minerals, most importantly, defense minerals.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another Virtual Investor What This Means segment. My name is Janine Thomas. I am CEO of JTCIR, and I will be the moderator for today's segment. Today, we're excited to welcome Mark Jensen, CEO of American Resources, back to our Virtual Investor platform. Welcome, Mark.
Janine, it's always a pleasure to be on your platform. Thank you for inviting us on.
Before we get started, I just want to inform our audience that American Resources is listed on NASDAQ and trades under the ticker AREC. And during today's discussion, the company will be making forward-looking statements. And I encourage everyone to view the company's website at AmericanResourcesCorp.com or the SEC's website for their latest filings and information. All right, Mark, we're going to dive right in. So we have followed ReElement over the last 3 years, and you have been a leader in the rare earth and battery materials sector. So antimony is a new product that has moved very quickly. Can you give us background on why the urgency and focus?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you pointed out, American Resources and ReElement, we are primarily focused on the rare earth elements, battery materials historically. But what we are is we're a midstream refiner of elements and critical minerals, most importantly, defense minerals. We were approached by our national security supply chain that China had banned antimony, which antimony trisulfide and trioxide are used in munitions as well as fire retardants, and had the opportunity to go out and source this material and test it. Found a really strong partner overseas that can supply the raw ores. And very quickly, we were able to develop a flow sheet given the versatility of our technology, as well as the ability to run simulations and the computing power we have nowadays to be able to produce this product cost effectively today to displace China within our national security supply chain. So we were able to put together not only the feedstock, but also the processing parameters to move forward within 90 days to drive this to commercial scale very, very cost effectively.
ReElement is also a defense industrial based company, and there has been a tremendous amount of news about critical minerals. What does that mean for American Resources and ReElement?
We are a defense industrial based company. We believe that we need to be independent as a nation in terms of the materials we need for our national security. We put a huge emphasis on that. We have many members of our team that are in the military, work for the U.S. government, as well as family members that are in the military. And we want to make sure that we have the strength and power to be able to keep our country safe and supply those materials as they're needed. We have always emphasized our defense customers within our supply chain and making sure that we're getting them the products that we can. And we are highly confident, given our technology and the versatility of our technology and capabilities, we can source these materials that are needed. We don't need new mines in this country. We don't need new mines overseas. We can take these materials that are going to adversaries today, and we can source them to bring them and process them at a more cost-effective rate in a more environmentally friendly method than what is being used today within China. And we're putting a huge focus on this national security supply chain. There's other elements we are currently testing for defense partners today that we will be coming out with hopefully here in the near term.
So we are seeing China ban additional elements in refining. What is the issue or challenge for the United States when it comes to being independent of foreign sourced material?
Yeah, if you look at the installed refining base that China has built, they refine 95% of the materials, and they've been able to go out throughout the world and aggregate the raw feedstock that is abundantly available. We don't need new mines in the world. We don't need new mines in the United States. This material is available and abundantly available throughout the world. What we needed was refining capacity. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, all that refining capacity that was once in the United States went to China. Today, we have that refining capacity back here through ReElement Technologies and the ability to produce our own products. And through American Resources, we can source these raw materials and we can displace China in the national security supply chain by refining locally in the United States at our facilities in Marion, Indiana, and Kite, Kentucky, at a couple other locations we're working with in South Carolina and Texas, but also beating them at their own game, going to these local countries and partnering with them, such as in Africa, which we've been able to establish strong partnerships with our funding partners at Navarre and others, that we can physically go there, build refining locations, displace China, and take the material that they're sourcing and bring it back to our own country so that we can compete on the world scale and we can be independent as a nation.
Mark, the Trump administration seems focused on national security. So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, we said it during President Trump's first term that we believe he believes in American exceptionalism, and we're highly confident that he's focused on making our country safe and making sure that we are the strongest country in the world. We applaud his efforts to focus on merits and focus on building real solutions for the world and for our country. You see what he's doing, trying to do in Ukraine, of securing materials for money that we paid to that war. We see it throughout the world that he's negotiating for rare earths. He's putting a huge emphasis on this. He knows that our military needs these products. And we are excited to working with his administration and having dialogue with his administration to make sure that we can secure these materials and turn them into usable formats in our country so that we're not relying upon China. We don't need these tariffs and threats of banning materials over our head as a nation. We need to focus on moving forward and driving forward. And we think we are highly aligned with the Trump administration and his team that he's putting in place to make our country safe, make our country strong, and be able to compete on the world scale.
And finally, Mark, where do you see American Resources and ReElement having the biggest impact over the next 3 years?
Yeah, I think the next 3 years are going to be extremely exciting for both American Resources and our ownership in ReElement Technologies. One, we've proven we can do it. We've proven we can refine materials to usable grade today. We've done it on the rare earths, both the lights and the heavies. We've done it on antimony. We've done it on battery materials. We're working on germanium right now. We're working on numerous products, working with the defense industrial base to be able to not only source these materials through American Resources, but refine them today cost effectively at Chinese or lower than Chinese prices. Domestically, we're focused on building out our existing facilities in the heartland of America. Marion, Indiana, a 400,000 square foot facility we're installing equipment in, operating in. And then furthermore, overseas, we want to win this battle. We want to deploy our technology to source these materials. And we're highly confident that over the next few years, we're going to be recognized for what we're doing, both at American Resources and ReElement, for our shareholders and for our country in terms of what we bring to the table and what we focused on building over the last 9 years.
Appreciate that, Mark. And with that, this concludes the Virtual Investor What This Means segment featuring American Resources. I'd like to thank Mark Jensen for joining us today. And as a reminder, American Resources trades on NASDAQ under the ticker AREC. And if you like what you saw today, I encourage you to visit AmericanResourcesCorp.com for more information on the company and to sign up to follow the company to receive their alerts, as well as follow their social channels to stay current on the latest information. And you can also visit VirtualInvestorCo.com for our latest segments and events calendar. I'd like to thank everyone for joining and wish you a great rest of your day.
Janine, thank you for you and your team's efforts to help us highlight what we're doing at American Resources and ReElement. We thank you for your time. We thank your audience for listening to what we're doing. We're excited about where American Resources go as a NASDAQ-listed public company today, and ReElement, our minority ownership that we have in that business as we continue to grow.